something here that
That's happened
says,
too many times.
I got something that says, I got hit in the back of the head while playing cricket, passed out, eyes rolled back, legs shook. Should I be worried? I had pretty scary experience today and would really appreciate some insight or advice from people who've been through something similar. I was playing cricket this afternoon and I was chasing a high catch while walking backwards. I managed to catch the ball, but ended up slipping and falling hard, hitting the back of my head directly on the ground. According to my friends, I passed out immediately. They said my mouth opened automatically, my legs started shaking, and my eyes rolled back. I was completely unconscious for about 20 minutes. When I started regaining awareness, everything felt like a dream. I couldn't immediately remember what had happened, and it was honestly overwhelming trying to process what was going on. For
He
about an
needs to go to
hour,
the emergency room for a concussion.
right, for about an hour or two
Definitely.
after, I
Have you
had a
not
weird
watched
feeling in
football?
my head. Confusion, nausea. I also felt like throwing up shortly after I came
Yes,
back to my
concussion.
senses. Now it's been a couple of hours and my forehead still hurts quite a bit. I didn't I did go to a local doctor, but I live in a small town with limited medical facilities. He said it was likely just the impact that knocked me out and advised a CT scan only. If the pain lasts more than 2 days, right? If the pain lasts more than 2 days. Right now, I'm resting, but I'm still a bit worried about what actually happened
Don't go to sleep.
and whether it might happen again. So, does this sound like a seizure caused by the impact? Has anyone else experienced something like this and fully recovered?
I would,
Also, is it common to feel like everything was unreal, like a dream after regaining consciousness? Any thoughts or experiences would really help. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing and not missing anything serious.
I wouldn't say seizure. Well, then again, I'm not a doctor, but
It,
from my understanding, I mean, the way he fell, he hit his head, that could be a concussion.
yeah.
Right.
He was playing cricket.
Yeah, and busted his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
A seizure? I don't know about that.
Did he say he was out for 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying as far as a
Yeah.
concussion.
Yeah, he needs to get checked for like his arteries and a stroke because a stroke could cause a seizure for sure.
Yeah, it says completely unconscious for about 20 minutes. This is after the
That's
legs
wild.
start shaking and the eyes rolling back and the mouth opening.
That's wild.
Mm.
It's wild that his doctor was like,
Yeah, the
"Oh, you'll
doctor
be
let him
fine."
out. He needs to
No,
see a lawyer.
can we call him right now? He needs to be
Make sure he's
getting an
still
MRI
alive.
right now.
Yeah, this was 8 days ago, so this person is still somewhere
Wow.
out there.
Yeah,
I
and he's
pray
obviously
that
been
he's
asleep
still
since then.
okay.
Yeah, and you're in the
Someone message
comments
him.
and saying,
Yeah,
how are you feeling? It sounds like you might have a concussion, which needs to be checked. Head trauma can cause epilepsy, and that's worth avoiding. Good advice, Anne. I like that one.
Yeah, that sounds like the best
Yeah.
one so far.
Poster
Thanks,
child
guys. Yeah,
once
that's a
again.
concussion. That's a
Good on
concussion.
Ann. That's our girl.
And yeah, and you can tell like whenever if you ever see somebody hit their head and have a concussion, I know some of us are familiar with the activity from different areas of the brain because we
Uh-huh.
have epilepsy. So a concussion will do a very similar thing, but it'll always be opposite of the impact. So if you hit the back of your head,
Because your head's
it's the
bouncing
front
off
of
the
your
side of your
brain.
head. Yeah.
Right, it's the front of your brain that's getting pushed
Yeah.
against your skull. So the way the movements that he explained, that's a frontal lobe concussion. And I mean, like any concussion, it needs to be followed up for at least 3 months. But, you know, we can only reach out so much, and
That's
empathy
right.
hurts. Okay. You know, I was like the same
That
way. And
hurts me
I
just thinking
wanted to
about it.
reach through Reddit and say, dude, I'm taking you to the hospital right now. You know? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's rough.
Some of these message boards on the other side, though, I like reading through the neurology posts because on the flip side, it's concerning sometimes. These were from a year ago. Somebody asked, "Can you please shed light on which are the better fellowship programs for epilepsy?" And somebody, the one of the first posts is just a rant, like going on and on about how Emory is shit and Cleveland Clinic is the place to be. But then it says this may be totally different in a year. So there's never any consistent priority standard. It's like there's never any consistent standard of where do you want to get treated, especially for like just neurological conditions in general, but especially epilepsy. From
I would
what
go
I've seen.
to a university, or as you guys were saying, a class 4 hospital.
Even in urgent care. I don't know.
It's just intimidating to not know, especially going to the new area. I don't want to go interview the hospital or anything, but I'm gonna have to know, what can you do for me if something happens here? Even have an MRI. Some hospitals are seriously that far out there where like that what freaked me out yesterday was looking at this part of Tennessee where, life is affordable and land is not a total ripoff. There's more private prisons in like the surrounding county than hospitals. And
Did you say
that
private prison?
really, yes, there are more like for-profit prisons in Northeast Tennessee than there are hospitals. And that really, really threw me off. Like,
That
yes, there's a
scares
lot of
me.
medical facilities, but they're in those little, cluster towns that are probably going to be like 30 miles out from wherever we end up looking at acres. But yeah, that was a little eye opener of about where just how to plan ahead.
Because the
Yeah.
land is affordable, that's why they're there.
Well, and they're getting the slave labor, like not to mention.
Don't get me
Yeah, that's a
started.
different discussion. That's a totally different subject.
Yeah, so something here says, I feel like I'm getting worse and that I have no one in my life. Since a series of seizures in September last year, I haven't been doing good whatsoever, and I feel as though people are just shrugging me off despite me trying again and again to reach out and get help. My memory's been getting worse. It's foggy and disrupted. I have blanks in my day sometimes, and that terrifies me. New information seems difficult to grasp for me now, no matter how hard I try, and I'm constantly paranoid and anxious and feel almost as if I've reverted back to a child, like an angry, upset, anxious child. My epilepsy nurse won't listen to me and just writes it off as medication symptoms. And I can't get a hold of my neurologist because he just outright refuses to talk to patients aside from initial diagnosis, apparently. My mother thinks since it's been a while, since I had a TC seizure in December or any other type of seizure, she's seen that I'm fine just being lazy, just being a lazy fucker, or that I'm purposely being stupid or forgetful. She gets mad when I forget things, or if she needs to help me with things such as paperwork that I do, for the life of me, cannot grasp and understand no matter how hard I try. She thinks I do nothing with my life except sit around and expect others to do things for me. I'm 19. I recently had to give up my first full time job because of my seizures. I study part time at an online university. I stay home and help take care of my siblings. I cook, I clean, do other chores, as long as they're noted down. Elsewise, I'm likely to forget, even if it's looking me right in the face sometimes. I have hobbies. Though. I do things. I take my dog out for walks with a connected leash in case of a seizure. I listen to music. I like to write and draw. I do things. I have a life, but that life feels nothing like it did before. I'm sick of being yelled at for things I can't control, of being insulted and used as a verbal punch bag just because I forgot to put a plate away or had to ask multiple times about something because I forgot 5 seconds later. I wish it'd be treated with concern, but it's not. I've tried reaching out further, telling my grandmother to talk to my mother and telling her that I'm upset, that I feel alone, but she does nothing. My dad lives across country and he does not care. He's got his own life there. We talk maybe 3 times a year. I don't know who to go to. I'm not trying to report anyone for anything. If that's what people somehow get from this, I don't need that kind of drama. I just want to be taken seriously and helped, for crying out loud. I can't take this anymore. Every day is a struggle, and I'm so anxious it hurts. I don't know who to talk to or go to. I live in the UK, so I have access to NHS, but they don't seem particularly interested in trying to help. Or maybe that's just me giving up on them because I've tried and tried, but nothing's come from it. Any advice? To be honest, I forgot some of the beginning. So, any advice for anyone who does remember?
Em's got her hand up.
I think I remember. No, I don't. But I wanted to say that this person is only 19. They have hobbies. They're still concerned for themselves, and they're doing really well. Like, you're doing everything right, and
Just don't give up.
yeah, your family and your doctors fucking suck, and that's not completely their fault because people just don't get it. But get in any camp, because sometimes just showing people, like my partner kind of said the same thing where it was like, you need me to do everything for you, like you're doing this to yourself, and basically I just wanted to stop. And then I finally just showed him a couple of the videos and that has stopped. So it could help. It might not, but it could.
Yeah, I think that does sound like a good idea. Show someone what's happening, and they're actually going to have to accept it for what it is after seeing it, hopefully. Because then there's still those people who are like, oh no, well, you're doing this, you're smoking pot, you're doing that. Maybe you should try not to do this. So, yeah, this puts that person in a tough position. And yeah, like you said, been told by someone, oh, you're just lazy, you don't do this, you want people to do this and that for you, using your disability as an excuse, and so on. Anyone else?
That's true. Just all agree. Like you said, they're doing the right things, and it's a shame that they even have to experience this and then don't have somebody close to them that's more willing to run the race and be there, because when you're in front of the doctor trying to tell them about your first seizure, and like you said, they ask you about any other lifestyle choices, if you're honest, you can see the expression changing on that medical professional's face if they're the kind that's going to judge you based on that. And at 19, your brain is not even developed.
Right, you
You're
still
not
got
even
time.
done growing yet. Not everything is connected. Never mind like all the pathways that could possibly lead to worse seizures that these medical professionals are not going to be able to deny. But they have a chance now to narrow it down and take action. So, I mean, prayers be with them.
Yeah, the person they're studying online, and they just got their first just lost their first full-time job because of the seizure. But yeah,
I
stick
wonder
with the
how it is like that in
hobbies.
the UK.
There
Those
ain't
kinds of things.
Stick with the hobbies, I say. Find something that you like doing. You're never going to get past the people telling you you're lazy or you're doing this, because those pills have a lot of side effects that we don't want. And being tired is one that I hate, because explaining to people I'm tired because of my pills is a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. People don't understand. I just took these pills. Now I'm kind of drowsy a little bit. And it's like, well, get up and do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, give me a second. But I don't have a second. So, yeah, that person doesn't have a second. So they don't understand all that. Yeah, the lazy part, I guess you'll just never be able to get past that. You just got to avoid those people. But if they're your parents, that sucks, because it's a person you can't avoid.
That's the kind you want in the room with you when your physician acknowledges your real condition.
Yeah, they're also saying that the neurologist didn't want to see them after the initial diagnosis, and the epileptologist said that it's medication symptoms. So you just got everybody denying you. But then again, the person's 19, so could be a lot that this isn't explaining that we don't know.
Here's another post out of the UK saying, "Hi all, my colleagues had her first seizure in our office last July and has since received a formal diagnosis. She's still working with a consultant who's upping her meds, but her seizures haven't stabilized yet and she's on one average a week. Prior to these, she had sickness days, which had meant her Bradford score was in the dodgy section. She's just been told that her manager thinks she's taking a piss and her epilepsy sick days will no longer be covered by sick days. I've told her to request her manager put this in writing, but it feels dodgy to me. Would it be a good idea for her to speak to ACAS or get good legal advice from somewhere, as I thought diagnosis like this would make her more protected, but it seems the opposite." So it sounds like this one's more just asking for legal advice at this point because her friend is just taking it from the boss. But
Well,
apparently they do have these kind of protections overseas too.
yeah. Well, not am I only not a doctor, I'm also not a lawyer, so can't help there at all. I don't have legal advice because even if I tried, I probably couldn't retain that info. So I got another one. It says, anyone ever gotten an infection from biting their tongue during a seizure? Just a random question, because I'm 99% sure my tongue is infected after I bit it during a seizure last Saturday. I'll be seeking medical attention for it. Only just came to the conclusion today that it's infected. I'm in utter agony. Can barely talk, chew, simply exist right now. I'm pretty new to epilepsy. This is my 5th confirmed seizure so far. 2nd while on a changed course of my medication. So I'm just curious if this is going to become a constant thing, or am I just super unlucky? Do most of you also bite your tongue? I seem to do it without fail every time. I really hope not. My tongue biting is my least favorite part of epilepsy. I can stand everything else, but something about taking chunks out of my tongue puts me off. I'm literally already missing permanent bites from it, and now an infection on top of that, which is one of my triggers. LOL. It's like my body wants a repeat already. I'm tired. Let me know the rest. I've never got an infection. It always came to mind, can I get an infection? But I've never actually gotten it. So tongue infections is rare for me.
I do get bites, not every time, but not unoften. That tends to be a fairly regular, wait, did I have a seizure during the night? Oh, I have a bite. Guess I did, kind of thing. They're usually not huge, bad bites. So there's that. Haven't ever gotten an infection, but I did just do a round of penicillin to try to help with this swelling thing I've got going on. Can everyone still hear me? Because it looks a little frozen. Okay, we're good.
Yes, we can hear you.
So what else? Yeah, round of penicillin wasn't too bad. Didn't help with what I was trying to do, but it wasn't too bad. So hopefully that'll help you. What else am I trying to say? I would recommend looking into a mouth guard.
I've
Had
got one.
for after braces, but could be really helpful for you. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I got.
You can get mouth guards at the pharmacy. That's where I got one.
I didn't know that.
Just for they're for grinding your teeth. People grind their teeth, and this is a mouth guard to keep you keep your mouth closed, and you're biting down on that.
Okay. Got something else. It says, oh, this sucks. It says, my mother claims she has it worse compared to me after my severe seizures. How do I approach her all about this? Exactly a week ago, I had two pretty rough TC seizures in one day. It took multiple chunks out of my tongue. I couldn't eat solid foods until about day 5. It's still uncomfortable and now sits oddly in my mouth. And I have supposedly, according to A&E, as of emergency visit last night after I tore it further accidentally, severely torn one of my upper right arm muscles tendons. Initially believed to have dislocated it because of the amount of sheer agony I was in. Actually begged to be knocked out, punched. It was that bad. I'm pretty good with the pain. It's still slinged and still uncomfortable. Weak as of right now. I also pulled the majority of my back muscles and fighting off a supposed infection. Though that's the least of my concerns, the support is a bit needed. I need help approaching my mom about this all. We've been arguing nonstop since the day it all happened. She's livid at me, saying that I brought this upon myself and that I need to admit that she has it worse at the moment because she's having to watch over my health like I'm 9 and not 19, and that she's needing to micromanage my life to keep my health in check because I can't apparently do it myself. Forcing me to bed early, watching when I eat like a hawk, scolding me for being messy with my medical documents, general room, etc. Mind you, I'm fully employed. I'm a fully employed adult who pays her rent for my room and who's been on top of all this by myself for almost 6 months. I've been diagnosed for diagnosed and seizure free. At first, I got it completely because I saw a clip of my sister filmed of me seizing, as I asked her to if it occurred ever in front of her, and how my usually very composed, kind of cold ex-military mother instantly crumbled and tried desperately to hold and soothe me through it. It hurt to watch badly, and I can get that she'd be upset. I can actively rewatch it and see her upset, but I can't stand here and allow her to further claim that she's got it worse, one of the two of us, and then use that claim against me because I agreed that the clip was hard to watch. It's my life, I think, therefore I have it worse regarding my life and my diagnosis. Is this so wrong for me to say? How do I approach her without making her aggressive? Has anyone else experienced this before? I'm sick of being micromanaged and insulted constantly by her. I'm trying to be the bigger person by agreeing with her, but admitting that she's right just makes her more confident in insulting me. Oh, man.
I don't know if anyone else has stuff to say, but I got
Go
parents
ahead.
who suck, so I got stuff to say. She has problems, so even if she did have to take care of you more, if you weren't able to be in charge of all this and take care of it all yourself, that would be okay. You don't have to be perfectly on top of everything, completely taking care of yourself. You're disabled. You're having a lot of problems right now. You have a lot to take care of. You're dealing with a lot. It's okay that you need help. And she should not be giving you shit for that. That's not fair. You shouldn't be you shouldn't be given shit for needing help. No one should ever need to be given shit for needing help, regardless of what they're dealing with. But you specifically are dealing with a lot, so you shouldn't be given shit for that. And no one in the world should ever compare themselves to anyone else when it comes to what they're going through, what they're dealing with. So it's not okay that she's doing that to you, but in this situation specifically, it is super gross that that's what she's doing because you're going through something incredibly difficult. So, I just want to say that you're totally in the right here. She is totally in the wrong. I know that that does not make it better because you still have to deal with this. And knowing that you're in the right and she's in the wrong does not make it possible to fix how she's acting. I've had to deal with that with my family a million times over, and the only way that I was able to get past it was to just stop talking to my family. And sometimes that's just how you gotta go, because family just doesn't listen. So I don't know if it's possible for you to find someone else who can be your person, who will help take care of you. If that's not possible and you have to have your mother be the person, then you're just gonna need to try to explain that you're doing what you're doing the best you can, and what you're going through is truly serious, and you do need someone to seriously acknowledge that, and she can't be constantly trying to compare what she has to deal with what you have to deal with. And now I will stop my rant. I am sorry you have to deal with this, friend.
Well said.
Well said, yeah. I agree with that. Also, she doesn't have to agree with her mom. She doesn't have to say anything at all, and that might be the best thing to do. I kind of wish somebody would have told me that when I was younger, because she probably won't stop unless she decides to get therapy, and she probably won't get therapy.
Right. So yeah, she said the ex-military mom, which is that's a rough part too, because they kind of don't. Well, I don't know a lot of them, but I know a few, and they have ways they're just not gonna change because it was like they were rebuilt when they went to the service or something. Um, I'm sorry for anybody who is in the service who is watching this, but yeah, the ex-military mom, she might have got some ways that she's just like set with, like you said, not going to go to therapy or whatever the case. Yeah, that sucks. Like I always say, we need a support system with this because if you don't, shit happens. So,
So
any
making
other
it work in
opinions
that
on that?
situation, it really seems like they're gonna have to take it like one issue by issue. You know, this is what's happening. This is what I'm going to need. This is what I can do to provide. And I mean, it sucks to have to prove yourself to your own flesh and blood, but sounds like that's kind of the point that this might have gotten to. You
Strap
Yeah,
can't
them
especially
can't
down.
just cut them off if you don't have somebody else.
right. Mm.
Strap them down into a chair. Start putting down all the info you gathered. Make them sit and listen to your neurologist
And you'll
and
be
all
lucky
that
if you
stuff.
get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so emotionally difficult, and that makes epilepsy so much worse.
Yes.
My heart goes out, and I
Absolutely.
get it. Reese, we have the same. So many of us have that story. It's like, unfortunately, they couldn't accept that, but now they realize it's not something that's going to go away. Now they're carrying some guilt unless we have a conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I hate to say I told you so, but I had a feeling you were going to regret thinking that even my doctors were lying to you. Um, but it's a trauma response. They don't want to deal with it. And then there's those that it's a competition. Um, I've got it worse than you. It's not about that. It's like, how can we help each other? Instead of, oh, well, I got it much worse. And then you throw in the ex-military. Well, that's my sister. She made me homeless. Because she found out it was too real for her. So I get it. I get it. But I don't know how, but you find a way. You know what I mean? We find a way. And I send in vibes. Just all I can do. I feel so bad for people going through that. But how do we fix it?
You don't.
Yeah.
And especially because it's a parent. That's hard. It's a parent. It's hard to approach
It's
a parent
harder.
in certain ways, especially because you're living with them. You got to worry about getting put out.
I don't ever know
Yeah.
any other way other than like using their own words against them kind of thing. Yes, I agree with you in this aspect, and then, follow up with the point you do need to make. But yeah, the ex-military part's just kind of right hook there.
Kate, that's really good advice. Just saying yes and then continuing on with your own point.
Can you tell I've had some practice? I gotta find a way to laugh. I gotta find a way to laugh. I still call my family out on like talking shit when they're like, I just fucking told you this yesterday, and it's like, oh well, did you forget about that thing?
Oh, there you go. That's my wife. Honey, you feed me medication. How
Of course I forgot
long we
the
been married?
timeshare was for the same week as the dentist appointment. Yeah, I'll reschedule, but you know,
I've
don't
got
act
two
like this
whiteboards
couldn't have
in
been
my
avoided.
house, one here and one back here, and that's for that reason. Because my memory is gone.
Yeah, I can't help but the guilt though. I mean, I remember the dog's fucking birthday, and you know, there's some other things that
Let me
I
see, what
think
do they
should be
call
like
that?
embedded that just never happened, never stuck. I swear she's still gonna hold it against me that
What do
the
you
only
call
thing I know how to play on the piano after who knows how many thousands of dollars and lessons and hours, and I remember half of the Flintstone song. That's it. That's it.
Play
None
the
of the
piano. Play the
Titanic or
piano.
none of that.
There's a name for that. Something memory.
Oops.
I forgot.
Remember what you want.
Yeah, I
Bad
forgot memory.
memory.
Selective.
Yeah,
Selective
Selective,
memory.
that's it.
selective. There
That's
we
it.
Yeah.
go.
My wife
The
says that all the time. That's your selective memory kicking in.
oh yeah. What gets me? My favorite thing I say now is, because I would get that in sometimes very hostile ways. you know, the memory card they throw at me. And it's like, you know, you do this all the time. Well, how do you know? Well, because I remembered. And what I'm concerned about is you don't remember that you've done this to me before. And that usually stops them from breathing for a moment. And I've noticed that it's working
Take a
really
breath.
well. Yeah, it's like I'm noticing and I'm concerned that you don't remember doing this to me before. Well, what do you mean? I'm not quite sure my memory is the issue here. You know, it's like, oh, but you can't remember why I have a memory issue.
Selective memory once again.
Selective memory. So don't accuse me of having a memory issue
No, no, no,
when
no,
you
no,
don't
no, no.
remember
Come
doing
on,
this to
come
me
on, come on, come
before.
on.
Right?
Come on.
No, I had this problem, or I was going through this. Or it's like, you're a narcissist.
Oh, don't. Let's not do that.
Let's
Don't
not
get
use
me
that
going.
word here.
Yeah, that'll bring it to a next level.
I said, let's not use
Guys.
that word here.
I've been there.
Get a nanny cam, and then you can just show them.
That's it. There you go.
Right.
Writing everything down, taking notes, doing a lot of journaling really did make a difference, because then I didn't have to try to match it up with like the last time I sent a text message or made a phone call just to prove I was coherent. You know, if I was coherent enough to take these notes, then obviously, you know,
Well, you know what
No.
kills me?
Okay,
Is
that
my
doesn't
wife and
actually
I
count
studied it.
because I actually didn't know I was coherent, but like you said, if I was able to write these down, then this and that. But like I said, I took 3 buses and a train, so and I paid for
that's what's
them.
scary though about all
I
like
paid for the
everything that you
bus.
tell us. Yeah.
So yeah, you never. How will you know that you're coherent?
Have you ever had one of those like 24-hour EEG overnight ones?
I
Nope.
don't think I have.
No take home ones either?
Nope.
Okay. Hey, maybe something to
The one
discuss.
the
I
one
think
that I
you
was
need
gonna
one,
have,
though.
everyone, I found out that everybody else was getting paid for theirs, so I left. One guy, he was like in the next room, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you here for this study too?" He was like something about the payment or whatever, and I'm like, "I'm not getting paid for this," and he's like, "No." He's like, "I think everybody else
He
is."
was
He was
in
like,
for
"I talked to this guy and that girl down there, and we're all getting paid for this." I'm like, "Oh no."
You were in there for a study.
I called them in there like, "Take this stuff off of me. I need to
Come
go
on,
home."
but you need the data.
I do, but for some reason, I just
Well, for
felt
some reason, I'm not getting paid, and I could be out
You're
getting
just going back
stoned.
on a different day. That's like showing up at the zoo at the same time as a field trip.
I
You
felt
don't want to be there,
Oh, I
disrespected.
but
like that.
I was like, the disrespect is real. Like everybody's getting paid except me, and I'm like, I don't know even how much, but I wasn't even aware of this was the problem. Like you're paying people, but you're not telling me that, and you're just. I know it was an appointment and all that, and I was just like, I'm just quite offended that everybody's getting paid and sent me, and I left. Yeah, I had them take the stuff off, and I was like, "You guys, I'm
Are
leaving."
you serious?
Yes, I was
You
young.
didn't-
Excuse me, I was young, so I was also just like, I don't want to be here. Or I already didn't.
don't worry, Pookie, we're not judging. Now you know the big
No,
picture.
I'm
Now
not.
you know.
I just thought it was silly that you didn't. I mean, you said you were a kid. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I
I'm
wasn't a
proud of you
kid,
for
but
living.
I was like early 20s or something. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, I was just like, everybody's getting paid for this, and I'm just here, and yeah, felt like I was getting played, so I left.
Did you ask them what they were doing there?
Nope.
Well, that would have been the first clue.
Right.
What are you getting paid for?
Right. I just know I was missing money.
Yeah, they're talking money and you ain't getting none. What's the picture
And
here?
that's
What's
all
wrong
you
with this
needed to
picture?
hear.
Yeah, that was all I need to hear was that you're getting paid and I'm not, but we're both here and doing the same thing. I should have said, who can I talk to? Who's paying you?
That's
But
it. How do I get the money?
instead of saying
Give me the
that,
money.
I just told them I'm leaving and take the stuff off. And they tried to talk me out of it for like 20 minutes. Do you
Especially
think
after getting all that glue in your hair, and then you're just
oh
gonna
man,
take it
that was
off.
the worst
No,
part.
ain't happening. Finish doing what you're doing. I hate to have to come back and do it again.
Right. I didn't think
Yeah,
like
it
that.
looked like you look like Cynthia from Rugrats after you come out.
Right. I was just like, I don't want to be here. You guys, everybody's getting paid. I was just young and not thinking like I would think now. Now I was thinking, okay, I just need to do this and get it out the way. Then I can be bothered about it later. But
I could be out there smoking a joint.
right, I was thinking that I could be anywhere doing anything.
I know where
I'm
your
sitting
mind is
here.
at.
That's what bothered me. It's like I could be doing so much, but I'm sitting here while I'm doing something that everybody's getting paid for. Yeah.
It's not working for you.
The younger me, it's just I'm gone, you guys. Come do this, and I'm gonna leave with it if you don't. So I think that's exactly what I said. You're gonna take it off, or I'm just gonna leave. And yeah, so I wasn't having it. I got something that says, how bad is it to miss a dose of medication? I've only ever missed a dose twice. Once when I first started taking them, and I think maybe 3 days in, I forgot to take my morning dose. I had a partial seizure a few hours after during work. I'm pretty sure at least, but I wasn't sure if it was connected at all. Second one is today I forgot my meds at home, had some changes in my morning routine, had me fumbling around and forgetting left from right. So naturally, I forgot my pill too. Just wondering, I suppose, how bad is it truly? Can you have a full tonic-clonic seizure from missing one dose? Since I only really just started taking medication, I'm on a lower dose. It increases at the end of this week to double. I'm assuming my chances of seizing from medication are very slim for now, but I'm still curious.
Well, everybody's different. I've been on medication all my life pretty much, but yeah, if I forget my medication today, I know by uh probably 7 o'clock tomorrow I'll have a seizure. That's a
Yeah,
given.
I don't say that any seizure is worse or better than the other. They all seem like they just suck like the worst, period. And
The conversation, right?
yeah, the seizures, yeah. So not taking the pill, I'm not going to feel like I'm going to have a light seizure just because I missed one dose. I feel like they're all going to be the same, equally measured, you know?
A seizure's a seizure.
I think that's what the person's asking. They think the seizure is going to be as bad. Missing one
It
dose
depends
is
on
still
what
bad.
pill too.
No, I don't know. I've got
Yeah,
no
well, they're
rhyme or
early.
reason with mine. The intensity of it.
Mm.
Like I
Because I
was
know
saying,
if
the
I
one I
miss a
had at
benzo,
work on
yeah,
Saturday,
I'm gonna have a seizure.
the one I had on Saturday, I just pretty much phased out. But the one I had on Sunday was a lot worse because I went into the bedroom, lied down, and I woke up and I had bit my lip. So that was worse.
Did you still have the seizure or the headache from Saturday?
Oh yeah.
That's why it was worse for me. The second ones, the next day ones are
Well,
always worse
it
because the headache
started
from the
like
day before.
Friday. The headache was
Yeah.
like some yeah.
Yeah. The second one is always worse, like the rebound. That's why I hate nasal. That second seizure is worse than the one I got the nose shot for. It always is. But what the post sounds like is this person was newly diagnosed and they're just going on medication. And there's less of a chance in the earlier titration because your body hasn't already they're not even already up to the therapeutic dose.
Right.
So it's not like us missing a dose. So because it's so early in their journey, in their titration, I wouldn't be as concerned as
No.
like for us, because I
Right.
know, just like you, Tom, within a couple of hours of missing my Vimpat, I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got my clonazepam. They just dropped it off.
So do you
I've
guys
been
feel it just
monitoring
as
it.
strong, decades into it, no matter what medication you're on, whether it be an AED or a benzo or class 4 or whatever? Do these Schedule 5s really feel more dependent? I mean, make you feel more dependent?
No,
That's what I don't like about this Carbatrol or clobazam.
I hate them.
What, emergency drugs? Is that what you're saying?
They were designed as an emergency drug,
Uh-huh.
initially intended to use for 2 week, 2 to 4 weeks, get your situation under control and move on. But
Oh.
nobody told me that. My
Now,
neurologist
now they leave you on it.
suggested that this is, from now on, if she writes me refills, knowing this is one of those annoying ones that I can only get 30 days at a time.
This
And
is 5 days.
oh, okay. Yeah, so they actually wrote your prescription as such.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
well, this is because
if
it's
I get a
supposed to
30-day
give with my
supply, that's a suggestion that you keep taking it. But I feel like I really just wasn't enough informed, or I would have asked for something else.
this is supposed to go along with my I see I can't remember it. Zacharach, what the hell the stuff's called.
Exfiltrate.
Sonogram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so I'm not taking that, but I'll take the I'll take the emergency drug though.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had that conversation with this doctor today, about the dependency of benzos. And, he's one of those, he said, the fact that you're concerned about it gives me confidence to know that you will be careful.
You're not going to abuse it, right?
Exactly. But
Yeah,
I did say, I said, I'm afraid that some people aren't aware that we can use these as a temporary short-term medication.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of people that I see now that are taking this every day. And I'm like, that's not good.
You know
You
what I
know,
never understood is like
that was
lorazepam.
like one of my first questions to the doctor when they prescribed me to Excopri. I'm like, wait, I'm on a benzo. Like, I want to get off this benzo. You know?
Uh-huh.
And it's
Well,
a
see,
dangerous, and I asked the pharmacist and everything. It's like, it's a dangerous combination. It's like, it's already level 5.
mhm.
I'm sure that I'm not informed enough, but I'm terrified of prescription drugs that lead to addictions like that. Both my parents had addictions. No, I'm terrified. It's bad. Like
These
it's
are
a big
bad drugs.
problem in this country, and doctors don't care and are just destroying lives with the way that they're prescribing these drugs, and it scares me. So yeah,
Well, it's a good attitude to have, honey.
Angel, what's oh, I think M said what's level 5, and I was interested too. What's level 5 mean? Oh, controlled substances.
Controlled substances, you can't get a lot of them.
Yeah, level 1 are the illicit drugs. Yeah, just look up FDA or DEA controlled substances, and it'll show you the list. I'm a little stoned, sorry guys. But it starts at the level 1, and that's like cannabis federally is still illegal federally. and all the illicit drugs, including shrooms. So that's Schedule 1. Schedule 2 are heavy opioids, I believe, like morphine. And I don't remember all of them, but Schedule 5 is the lowest controlled, as in it's the lowest risk of all the controlled substances. So many of our drugs are like level 4, level 5, but the benzos are usually level 3. But a level 1 is the ones that we're all afraid of, which is like morphine and opioids. So, and this is something I'm wrestling with. Do I want to be on a daily dose, even a low dose of a benzodiazepine? And I really have to think about that, because I was on Oxycontin for a decade. So I know it's a different substance. And I trust myself enough not to abuse it, but it still scares me. I still have that same feeling that Kate does, where it's like, I'm kind of, I'm kind of wrestling with the whole idea that my drugs are controlled substances. And when I went and picked up the lorazepam today, the clerk had to call the pharmacist down because it was a red flag. And I got the controlled substance lecture. And first she said, "What are you taking this
I'll be
for?"
back.
And I told her, and then, bye, Tom had to go, and she was like, "You do realize that you have other controlled substances that you're using. We do have limits." And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. You didn't hear the answer to the question you asked me." And I stopped her right there, because our drugs are literally necessary to keep us alive for some of us. And I'm like, I'm not going to let you treat me like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. I don't need the lecture of, this is your 4th controlled substance. Okay. Do you want to come and stay with me and make sure I don't have a seizure? And this is not even their business. Do you know what I mean? So that whole wrestle with controlled substances, I think it's not uncommon for us to feel a little out of place,
It scares me, like Reese said, it scares me how they just, it's like, they're not even the pharmacies, or like, you have to give an ID, show your ID every time you pick it up, a controlled substance. It's not like a regular prescription. Like, I can pick up my methoxamide and say, "All right, this is my name. Here, boom." Or I
Yeah.
have my sister pick it up. But like something like clonazepam, here's my ID.
Yeah, I don't mind the ID. I just don't want the lecture.
But yeah,
And I just had to look the pharmacist in the eye and say, wait, I'm taking these medications for epilepsy. I'm not taking this every day, and well, we just gave you this. Listen, I'm not going to let you do this, and I'm in public. There were people standing behind me, and I'm like, I'm not going to lose it, but I'm not going to go back and let them treat me like that. So I just had to keep repeating, these are rescue medications for seizures that are out of control currently. I am not abusing these drugs. I have controlled substances that are all anticonvulsants. And she's like, oh, because they're giving that lecture so many times every day. And I'm like, you're not paying attention to people like me, like us. We need these medications. They were literally created for us. Okay. Um, but I think it's the stigma. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you do it.
yeah, I
But
got a
I
lecture
still
for
kind of,
nasalism.
yeah. Well, we had just picked up, I went through 2 boxes of Nasalum in a month. So that was what, 8 doses? And then I had to pick up lorazepam today. So, and then there's clobazam. Well, I haven't refilled the clobazam for 3 months. So, but because it's all right there in front of them, it throws a red flag to the pharmacist for the controlled substance review or whatever they call it. That I don't like. I don't care giving my ID, but don't give me the lecture. You know, it's just unnecessary.
Something here. It says, those of you who have had seizures or are epileptic, how scary is an aura? I've been worried about having a seizure, and I am just wondering how scary or frightening an aura is. I know this can vary, and not everyone likely feels the same way during one. So I just want to hear your experiences. I don't think I've ever had an aura. I heard about them, but I never really. Yeah, I don't think I've had one. I guess I've had a bad feeling. I don't know if that's an aura, but yeah, I've always had like maybe a bad vibe coming. Anybody can explain an aura and how bad it is?
I think for me at least, what's scariest is not knowing exactly what an aura is. You know, like I've had lots of strange feelings in different ways, but it's like, wait, is this an aura? Is this a focal aware seizure? Is this just I need a snack? You know, like I think the thing about epilepsy is just like brains are weird, bodies are weird, and once you have epilepsy, it gets to this place where it's like, what is your brain doing? It's hard to know. What is your body doing? It's hard to know. And I'm sure that as you age and as you have epilepsy for longer, you start to know your body better. And I'm still very young and very early in my journey. But when I say young and early in my journey, I'm starting to get older and trying to get used to that. But it's hard. It's scary. So yeah, for me at least, that's what's rough about auras, is not really knowing what is an aura and what isn't. I don't know what other people think.
I agree with that. I think I get one aura that's definitely an aura. It's only scary because I know I'm about to enter wacky goofy land. It's just blue dots in my right eye. Sometimes blobs and they're kind of cute. But then there's other ones that actually feel good, like if I'm watching a music video and all of a sudden I'll gasp and I get this rising feeling, but it's almost euphoric. But then I'm like, shit, fuck. So it's become less fun. But I agree with everything Reese is saying. It's really hard to figure out what is the aura and what is the seizure.
I
That
think
can
I
sound
heard
like
that the
LSD.
aura. I thought I heard that the aura is a seizure, though.
That's the confusing part.
Yeah, but
It
also
is a seizure, but
the question was how
it's
scary is it also? So yeah, like Em said, it could be. She said it's getting scarier. Kate, you ever
think
experienced an aura?
I never had auras,
yeah.
but from what I can tell, an aura is that what I'm trying to find out is can you see an aura
Like the smelling
on
ones don't
an
sound
EEG?
scary.
And it just sounds like it really is just individual. It's possible to see an aura on an EEG, but it's not always a straightforward detection. Some people are aware enough during an aura where they can communicate, verbalize what they're feeling. And some people's auras is literally just a split second of a taste or a smell or some sensation, and then, they go full out. So I'm just of the type where maybe when I have my auras, I don't say anything or can't say anything. And then by the time I come back, I don't remember it. So I think the memory is the only inhibitor of me ever being able to say that I've felt an aura, because by the time I'm back, there's no chance of remembering what happened for a few minutes before.
I have a question for
either
you,
or,
and
a focal or
sorry,
tonic. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I have a question for you and for Pookie and anybody who doesn't have auras. Are you guys having like grand malls?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that just like you wake up somewhere?
If
Mine
I'm not
has been
having
waking up
grand
somewhere.
mal, I'm already blacked out. I'm absent.
So yeah,
Pookie's woken up in other counties. So
right. Mine ended up being waking up somewhere else. But
yeah.
My grandmas are usually I'm at a place already. Like how I said, I got on some buses and trains. I didn't have the actual tonic-clonic until I was somewhere out of it. And yeah. Sucks, but life be life and shit happens.
Yeah, pretty
My
much.
Yeah. My mom told me a story this past weekend. And
Speak on it.
She was like, my mom told me a story with that she said my brother saw me do like a little myoclonic jerk. This was the same day I lost my teeth. Right before like my brother said, he's going to have a seizure. I'm already out of it at that point. But it's like, you could have, like, I'm in my head thinking you could have saved me some teeth, Mom.
Save me some teeth.
Yeah, it's not worth the energy.
I have a
I'm
question.
sure.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I know you guys aren't going to be able to tell me what this was, but I once was talking to my friends at a bar and I had not had anything to drink yet. And out of fucking nowhere, my face just went straight down. And then they told me what happened later. Like, I was very weird afterwards, and then I just went to sleep. The epilepsy place said it was probably a seizure, but I haven't had a seizure like that before since. So, yeah, has anybody had that experience?
So it was nothing that you remember? What's your memory like surrounding that event?
I remember like almost like when you get blackout drunk, like there's pieces of it. I'm a bit worried I had a stroke. So I'm getting an MRI, but
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've had those. There's somewhere between an atonic and a drop seizure. I never thought of it being a stroke because of the, as we're discovering the different types of seizures I'm having, but I've had those. I've even had them where I'd have my coffee like right here and boom, down. And I'm right back up again. But I'll get that whoosh. It's I don't know how else to describe it. It's just kind of yeah. It's that.
Did you remember anything afterwards?
I remembered the whole thing. Yeah. I remembered
Oh, wow.
I remember it happening. It was so quick, and my sister was like, "Did you feel that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I still feel it." But I felt it. I didn't lose awareness at all. And then I had another drop seizure where I literally just almost face planted on my neighbor's driveway, and he almost busted my ribs, kicking me away from the hitch on his truck. So yeah, I've had those too. So never thought of it as a stroke though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
rough.
But definitely, yeah, get it checked. You know, I wouldn't feel right until I got it checked. Yeah.
Yeah, I brought it up with my neurologist a couple times because it left me with a crack in my skull, and I can't see very well out of my right eye, but again, like that's where they think the seizure's coming from. So like that's the crazy thing about this is like I feel I'll say the most worrying things that I ignored in my 20s, and now I'm like, I probably should have got that checked out. And people just like don't give a shit. And it's really surprised me.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me after a while. I just kind of noticed it's gradually more and more people. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a thing. Maybe these people just haven't experienced it or don't have anybody in their family who experienced it or anything like that. So yeah, they
I
don't have to
stopped
worry
saying it
about
because
it.
if you say it the wrong way, then somebody's gonna say, okay, so it's your fault. Yeah, you snuck a drink from the bar one time, so you probably caused this on yourself.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
vibe I got.
my whole family thinks that I'm a drug addict and I don't talk to them anymore, but apparently they still think that because of that situation. And it's just crazy to me that that's easier to understand than I could just have a neurological problem.
Right. But
Um,
most important, you're taking care of it, and as long as you have the support system for those actual like when in need times, maybe all the pieces will come back eventually if it's meant to be. If that's what you want. I mean, I remember how to speak Spanish, but I couldn't tell you the names of like anybody on my father's side of the family, so there's always that too.
yeah,
There's a Jose. I know there's a Jose.
right.
Oh, por favor, no somos mexicanos.
Yeah, I know so many people that I tell them, I remember your face, but I don't remember your name. But sometimes it's remember the name and I don't remember your face, but I still got to tell them, I remember, I can't be in front of you like, I remember your name, but I don't remember your face because now I see the face and it just doesn't make sense telling them that. But I've remembered some people's name and didn't remember their face, and I was just like, it's not coming to me. Like, I'm just still going to have this conversation to you about how my father grew up and you knew him all this day, but yeah, sometimes it's just like I do not remember you. Like the name and the face is not bringing anything to me, and I just continue to have that conversation because a few of those times it was about like, oh, I knew your mother or I knew your father or something like that, and I knew you
You're a
from
friend of a friend from
this
back
when,
then.
yeah. So I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that, and nothing actually comes to mind. Sorry if those people see this, but yeah, some of those names and faces don't come too fast enough. And
No,
some
I'm
of them
glad
I
you said it like
remember.
that because I know this summer is going to be an event when we, make it back up north and see everybody who practically raised me, and I'm like, nice to meet you. Like,
Yeah,
That happened
yeah.
to me a few
some
years
of
ago.
mine. Oh, go ahead,
I
Angel.
saw my god brother, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, who are you? And I'm like, he's
I
just telling
can't
me.
I can't tell faces at all, and then of course I don't remember names, but I'm told that the partial facial blindness thing is not related to epilepsy. So, yeah.
That's crazy
But
because after some of mine, I I was watching this fucking show and I could tell it wasn't Idris Elba, but like I couldn't make sense of the face. It was Coleman Domingo, by the way. But sometimes faces they just don't like. I know it's not a certain person, but it's just not adding up.
Right.
That's why I'm so desperate to see this stupid data that they're getting from my brain. Like, imagine it if I could actually see what those electrodes are doing when, anything funny happens, I could actually learn more about like what part of my brain is active, where are these pathways? And that's another tangent.
Like
But if
trying to
anybody does
remember.
actually
Did you
go
get
through with the
tested?
surgery,
What's going
I
on?
want access to my data.
It's going on overdrive, trying to remember.
But that's what I want to know. I want to know, is it, more this part, or, that they've got like 10 electrodes on 2 rods in there.
Is that an upcoming test or is that something you already did?
Yeah, that's the RNS device. So that's different than the VNS, where it's not attached to the vagus nerve in the neck. It's craniotomy, and they didn't do the surface, the electrodes on the surface, because I had I guess a lot of different foci. So they went I think they just call them depth electrodes, and I as far as I know, I think there's like 10 in there, but it's just frustrating because I send the data and do that every day. Go back every 3 to 6 months, and they adjust the settings. But they told me that the best I can do is a screenshot of a bar graph at the RNS appointments.
What the fuck? You're not gonna remember in 3 to 6 months
Yep, that's
what
how
was
I'm feeling,
happening in
buddy.
your brain. Man, I'm sorry, that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and RNS is the one. When I spoke to the second tech at RNS, because I just didn't believe the first one. So, called back another day, and they said, actually, you are the first patient that I've ever actually had request this. I was just like, that can't be, you can't be for real right now. How has nobody else requested this, and then just gave me, some generic talk to your doctor about it answer. The doctor doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. When I'm in the office, she has to turn to the RNS tech to confirm everything that she's seeing on the EEG. And it's funny, I just have to say it's funny at a certain point, because I know we're going far away soon, and now I know exactly what questions I'm going to want answered before I actually settle in with another team.
Yeah, I was considering RNS because I thought until I talked to you, Kate, I was starting to get sold on the idea that it was in real time. Like I would have data in real time. And the more I'm hearing from people like you and other people with RNS and DBS, no, it's not like that. This I thought the whole purpose of RNS was so that we could see what was going on in real time. So I get what you're saying. And yeah, but it's working. That's in real time, it's working.
Yeah, everybody can agree that the tonic-clonics are shorter, and the focal awares, I guess, are less frequent, or they're shorter too. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah,
the bottom line here. Is it does sound like it's finally making that like intervention in time of just shutting down whatever is getting, crisscrossed up there.
that's awesome. That is awesome. But I understand the craving. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I have, these mental capacities and the capability of understanding and comprehending this, like, yes, okay, I'm resigned to the fact that I will have to take these meds. I'm probably gonna have to take, the higher dose and stay on the treadmill, but just get to the max and switch and get to the max and switch. But cognitive functions aren't gonna be around forever. And as long as I can understand this, I want to. Especially now that I'm into all these other like brain documentaries and seeing how much the medical community actually knew before disclosing about medications and just experiments in general.
It's
Yeah,
so
that
crazy to
is-
hear you say that they were like, oh, nobody's like asked us for that before. Because I've gotten that too, and I'm like, I
Just
feel like
because I have
I'm like,
epilepsy doesn't mean I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah, and also like you're the one who decided to go to school to like look into my brain. Like I'm the one with my brain. You're the creep.
Well, I mean, I think that person at RNS, the NeuroPace rep, was clearly just like, customer service is not my thing. I don't talk to patients. That's yeah, that was their thing. They were just really quick to send me back to the doctor, and they just put me on the phone with whoever would pick up to give me some generic answer. But it is what it is. I'm sure I'll be able to find a way to get to it, especially when I tell them that, I'm leaving the practice, so I want all my records, everything on paper. Give me a CD if you really want to, but I don't even know if they made it that far along yet. Wish I could tell them that, like, the insurance company told me they're not going to process the claim unless you do. Go in there and throw in some like medical billing jargon and make them listen.
Sounds like something Ann would do.
Where are you
Slam the
living?
papers on the table.
But that's the thing. Anne got a solid plan. I just have
I
like
did
what
not.
little bit I remember from medical billing, and I know
Yep.
it's bullshit. So they're still gonna get
It's a
paid even if
solid
they don't give
plan.
me what I want.
Ann's
Right.
gonna throw the information in your face.
No, all I needed were the pink papers and I just slid them across the desk. I didn't have to
Oh.
slam anything down because every medical professional recognizes that fucking color. Okay? Just saying. That's how a lot of people feel about it because it is the most visceral reality when you're dealing with a specialist because it's like, yeah, I am feeling so uncomfortable with this treatment, and there goes the pink papers. So, and I don't know if you know the pink papers, the DNR, DNI.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I just saw his spine, like, whoa, dude, you having a seizure? You all right over there? But I'm like, yeah, this is how I felt the last 5 years. And I feel that I had to do this while I still could. And yeah, no slamming papers, but I don't know what the RNS, Kate. I really don't because those. Did you sign a data release, a copyright?
That's what I'll have to look into. That's exactly what I'll have
Yeah,
to look into, of what the papers, what the consent to treatment included.
yeah, yeah. But I get it. I have data that I'm craving and we can't get it because it was copyrighted into a study. So yeah,
And
I'm
that's the
honored,
thing,
but
since I know it was a teaching hospital, they still have pictures where there was crowds around, the bed and the surgery room and stuff. So I'm thinking I might have got sold on that point of, all they needed to tell me was that you're not going to have to take meds anymore. And I'm sure I was hooked. I was sold. So
Right.
Yeah, that would
I
sell
probably
me.
didn't look into the fine print, and I should have, but I'm not stressing because at this point I do still need to stay on their good side if I'm gonna get what I want.
yeah. How long ago did you have it?
2018.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That was the yeah.
So that's awesome. Being told you're not gonna take any pills anymore, I jump right at it. I feel you.
That's what I'm saying. Back then we were still trying to live the dream.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened, but still, I mean, Kate, I cannot get over how quickly you came back. I mean, you were enough. We could tell, but man, I would have never recovered that quickly from a TC.
Yeah, and
So,
I think it's got to be due to the duration. The length of the seizing does make a big
yeah,
difference. I still had the headache and the soreness the next day, but for the rest of the day, I don't know. You guys are saying it was noticeable, and I don't remember any of it at this point. But in the notes, they were coherent 2 hours later.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's pretty much a first.
yeah, and that's the data that they'll look at when they reset it. So, yeah, it might help
That's the thing.
eliminate
You'd
those
think they
too.
would look at my notes, but they don't. The data that I transferred does not include the diary.
Right.
They
Oh, that's
can't.
for the, yeah, it's the diary. That's
Yes.
what it is. It's the
Yes.
diary.
They
Yes.
don't look at my notes unless I specifically bring up one incident. Now, when I go to the RNS appointments, they do a data transfer right there in the office with the wand, deliberate for 5 to 10 minutes and push some buttons. And do you feel that yet? No? Okay, cool. Go ahead. See you in 6 months. You know, how's the kids? That's that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Emma has something to say. In the
Oh, thanks.
meantime, oh, go ahead.
I wanted to ask Kate if it sounds like the VNS is helping your tonic-clonics. Have you noticed any other like benefits or like symptoms from having it?
Well, this one's the RNS. So the RNS is the one that they have to put in your head. The VNS is the one that goes in your chest. And the difference between the VNS and DBS, I think it's called, is that I got kind of a pacemaker metaphor for those, and the RNS is different because it's supposed to respond to the trigger of electrical activity. So I guess it's supposed to pick up on something powerful enough that means it's actually the beginning of a seizure, and then respond by emitting an impulse to cut it off, to stop it from spreading and becoming generalized. So that's why they're saying, no surprise, you're still having focals and you're going to be on meds for the rest of your life for that purpose. But they didn't really make it clear at the beginning that that it was well aware in all the clinical trials and whatnot that those who had focals more commonly than tonic-clonics, the less juvenile patients, did continue having focal seizures, aware and unaware. I haven't
Would that
felt
have
any
changed your
difference.
decision?
No, if I had anybody who gave me a chance of getting off the meds was worth it at that point. I had, who I needed for childcare, only had one child at the time, so it was doable. It was doable. It had a lot to do with the timing. I think that was right before. I think I still had the good insurance then too. Yeah, I definitely wasn't on disability before RNS. So yeah, that's the other thing too. It was a lot of it had to do with the timing. The clock was ticking on how long I was going to be able to work for Blue Cross. So that's kind of the other reason I had to jump at it.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to hear that for you.
Yeah, so I think overall it's definitely served its purpose and it's still process always.
How long after that did you get to keep your job?
Okay. Kept the job from 18 to no, hold up. 17. Yeah, the job was gone at 17. The finger, the miscarriage, then the marriage. Yeah, so 17. I had stopped working before going, kind of full-term treatment because they needed me over at the hospital too much. They had to prove like without beyond a reasonable doubt that this was the kind of epilepsy that I had, that these were the how many foci, and I had to do several overnight EEGs, actually actively having seizures. So those are the ones where they told me to stop taking the meds on purpose and just to get it approved, all the approvals. And it was a couple, I think it was three, 3 surgeries.
Okay.
to get the whole implant.
One of the previous questions that I always see, it says, do you tell people? Just that. Do you tell people you have epilepsy? I am on meds, and I will be for the rest of my life. And thankfully, I haven't had a breakthrough in over a decade. I am highly functioning. Usually, I don't tell people unless I am close to them or it's absolutely necessary, or both. I wonder if I should tell more people around me in case of complications, but You guys tell people? I do. I tell people for the safety of myself at times. It's usually so I feel safe, so you know what's happening, just in case. In case one of those people who never seen me have one. Make sure I'm safe. I let people know. Family that usually knows. Sometimes I'll remind them, but other than that, like I don't just go in places like, "Hey, I have epilepsy." But if I'm around people, like in a certain circle or something, I let someone know around me this could happen, and I'm right here next to you.
I wouldn't do it if it could ever be perceived as a weakness. If there's
Yeah.
anybody around that could ever take advantage of it, then hell no.
Okay, yeah.
I
Angel, you
tell
tell people?
I tell people depends on the situation, but yeah, I tell people. Because I will have to tell them, look, my rescue med is in my back pocket or whatever, you know. But it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I've told one person where my rescue med is. But that's because I went over to her house wandering around, slurring my speech, and she's amazing. But otherwise, I'm starting to vet people pretty carefully for that.
Okay. I got
But I
something
was
else.
surprised sometimes too. Sorry to interrupt. I was just thinking though,
Go ahead.
instead of being such a hard ass about it, when I met the dog groomer on the corner and saw her every morning with the Pomeranian, and I had mine, and got friendly. It turns out she ended up telling me first that her son had epilepsy, and go figure. That kind of started the conversation and reminded me that like not everybody's evil. So when it's in a position that yeah, it can't be perceived as a weakness or around my children, then I'm a little less hesitant. Sorry, go ahead.
Gotcha. That's understandable. Gotta have another one right here. It says, simple question. What do you dislike the most about having epilepsy? I'm having dinner this evening with several neurologists, and I want to remind them, from a patient's perspective, how epilepsy impacts quality of life. Sound like this might be another neurologist. Dislike the most? I dislike having seizures. If that's not the obvious, that's the worst thing. Seizures. I wouldn't mind epilepsy if I didn't have seizures.
Dealing with, I don't know, you said the most, so
Yeah. What do you
it's
dislike the
definitely the
most?
meds. It's the meds. I hate the meds the most.
Yeah, I hate the seizures the most. Yeah. Kate, him.
If this is a neurologist asking, I hate that like you tell them something that's concerning for you, you try to communicate that, and then they either don't believe you or they're like, well, that's not a symptom of epilepsy, like biting your tongue at night. And yeah, just being immediately dismissed rather than maybe the neurologist doesn't know that much or thinks they know what a seizure is just because they went to school for it. Like, I guess I'm just like sick of doctors thinking that education means more than actually having a seizure, because you can't describe it. And yeah, like my neurologist has never even done acid. Like, I don't trust her to know fucking what a seizure feels like.
You've never had an out of body experience. You're not a real person.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, no, that kind of lines up with it. There's the frustration of medical professionals who believe they are like all knowing. And I guess at this point in the day to day, it's the meds.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking forward to getting rid of. If
And what do you like what do you dislike the most about epilepsy?
The stigma.
Mm.
That the misdiagnoses and the stigma. I really dislike being looked at as somebody lesser than I am, you know, but yes, I am struggling. But I had a little spat with my son-in-law a few weeks ago because he didn't get to do what he wanted to do because I was at the house, the story back and forth. He could have left. It's my daughter's house. It's not a big deal. And he turned it into a fight at the dinner table. Well, he tried to, you know, and it's that stigma, you know, and I'm like, I really understand that this is scary for you guys, but you have to understand how this makes me feel, because this is your insecurity. And I get it. This is scary, but I'm living this, and now I'm taking this backlash for that. You know, oh, I can't leave you alone in the house. You might this, you might that. I might use the bathroom. Yeah. You know, I might have a seizure. I'm home alone all the time anyway. So it's that fear, you know, that stigma and the fear that other people have, I think, you know, yeah, and the attention it gets, maybe that's what it is.
I really dislike just having seizures. I'm gonna go with what Pookie said too.
Yeah, like if I could choose seizures or pills, like if there was like an option, do you want to take these pills or do you want to have seizures? And that's usually how they talk to you about it, like that's how it's going to work. But I'd rather not have seizures.
Yeah.
Yeah, if epilepsy was just like a thing where you got to take pills, I'd take that any day without having a seizure, which is not, I guess, not going to happen.
nowhere
So,
near that yet.
yeah,
It's gonna be risk versus reward and a balance and this and that.
I was
It's
watching
give
another
and take.
podcast. There was another podcast, and they were talking about there was like an event where they're talking about finding a cure for epilepsy. And I got like 5 minutes into it, and I just turned it off. I was like, I don't think you guys know what you're talking about.
You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think about people who have had 2 seizures. They've been on Keppra or lamotrigine for 20 years or Dilantin, and they simply don't understand what we are talking about. You know, and then I know it personally. It's like, well, I know so and so has epilepsy, and look at them. They have a normal life. I'm like, yeah, but look at her brother. He died in 2014 from a seizure. That's the kind of epilepsy I have. Yeah. 2 siblings, it's my ex-husband's side, which I'm concerned anyway. But yeah, I'm like brother, sister, they both have epilepsy, but totally different syndromes. You know, and even my family would be like, well, look at Joanne. Yeah, well, look at her brother, Ricky. When was the last time you visited his gravesite? So, and venting, but that really gets me, you know, and when people say, well, I got it worse than you, or so and so has this and it's not that bad for them.
So you must be making it worse for yourself, or dramatizing, or I can't remember the words they used, like dramatizing my symptoms. Dude, I can't do that when I'm unconscious. Have you ever seen me have one of these seizures? The only drama is everybody running around me because I have no control of that stage. So yeah, we get that all the time, and it's that stigma. That, yeah.
You think I don't want to drive? You think
Right.
I don't want to live an independent, functional life?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
It's just so much. It's like you got to choose one day. No, but yeah. What's going to kill you more?
Yeah. Right. Oh, Pookie, you got to edit this one out. I wanted to ask you. It was one of the, I think the first couple of weeks of Zoom, somebody came in and said, is anybody being real here?
Yeah. I put that in there. That was a while back. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. He hasn't been back, has he?
Nope.
Oh. Is anybody being real here?
Well, not under that name, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Face.
Well, now I'm gonna go back and watch some, you're gonna get some more YouTube
Yeah.
views.
I think it was
Now we
Alan.
got to do our own investigation.
Because I'm
Wait,
like,
what? I'm sorry, what?
We
There
were
was an intruder, excuse me, a visitor, early on in the weeks, and I only joined like a month after you guys started or something. So
I think me and you
this
joined the
person,
same
I
day,
think,
Kate.
yeah, probably. So I think Sailor Mom's reaction is what stuck out to me because I think she was the last one who spoke before this guy comes out with, "Is anybody being real?" and says it just
Wait,
like
this was
that.
on the video. I'm sorry.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the Zoom. I couldn't tell you what title at this point, but it was definitely on one
You
of
can
the
see it on a
YouTubes
short
now.
too.
Oh yeah, that's it. The best way to see it is on the short, and you could see Sailor Mom's face like, "Motherfucker, I'm gonna strangle you." No, not like she gets violent, but
Yeah.
It's
like
like the
you did
last person
not
you
seriously
expect to
just
get
question it.
violent.
Exactly.
So they didn't have epilepsy and they just wanted to creep.
I believe he did have epilepsy because me and him had a one-on-one. He had some stories, but then once everybody came, because it was me and him there for maybe 30 or 40 minutes. Then when everyone came through, he just got kind of silent. I think there was one person there at first, and he was kind of talking, and then once there became more than one and two people, he got quiet for hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours in. And then eventually he was just like, is anybody telling the truth here? Yeah. And after everybody was like, yeah, this, and that, and then he just he just left.
That's so odd. He thought people were dramatizing or what?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
And that's what I'm talking about. Some people have a much simpler form of epilepsy that they've lived with without any complications in their lives. That's not who we are, okay? And I think because I've gotten this on Reddit a couple of times. I'm like, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but I can count more seizures in my last week than you had in your entire life. So, don't tell me that I'm dramatizing. Do you know what I mean? But they don't get it. Some of them don't get it. And I was just wondering if he was one of the what did we call him?
That's just tiptoeing the Munchausen,
Yeah,
suggestion.
Yeah, I never figured out that guy's Reddit name, so I haven't figured out who he is yet. But anybody with epilepsy is welcome to join. So that person probably seen that post oh, I have
I even
epilepsy.
suggested to some caregivers. A husband posted something about, just like the post you read earlier today, where the husband was just describing what happened to the wife
Oh yeah.
and asking questions of, what do I do? How seriously do I take this? If, you know, when do I give it? Just repeating all the stuff that they're supposed to tell you in the doctor's office, but when it's happening in real time, it definitely doesn't always come back. You're not thinking to start the timer when they go down.
Yeah,
So
some people not taking it as serious
Yeah.
because you're not shaking.
They don't remember the timer thingy. That's
I
always
wonder,
like the
like,
last thing.
how. Sorry, Angel. How do people who like don't how like okay, I knew for a long time I had to get checked for seizures for whatever reason. But like if mine had just stayed the way they were forever. I mean, I got some like pretty bad injuries. But like every couple of years, but like how do people who just have really mild symptoms even go to a doctor? Like why would they, like how would they even know?
that's where the PCP comes in. If you're describing neurological symptoms, no matter how vague, something feels off, then that is not your PCP's area of expertise. And they usually start with a CBC and work up and see if anything is off. And that's when they start the process of like rule it out. If you actually went down, if you have something to show for it, if you're like so blessed to have a bystander describing what actually happened, then you're probably going to, get to where you got to go a lot faster. But, sometimes it takes 5 years of seizures on the job. And, the patient denying it as much as they can for as long as they possibly can. And then you just try to go under the knife and stop the meds. And here we are.
Yeah, as far I don't know if you heard my like I said, as far as I knew, my first seizure was walking to school one day, and next thing I know, I wake up in the emergency room, and they're telling my parents they think it was a seizure. Few months later, grand mal right in front of them.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but that's an easy way to get a diagnosis quick. I mean, that's
Yeah.
honestly, it sucks, but that's awesome. You didn't have to go through life like so many people, and it frustrates me because, if I were on the other side and I were a medical professional trying to diagnose mystery symptoms, I don't know how hard it would be for me to apply my knowledge and say this looks neurological. And they don't do that as easily now. And that's where I'm like, wait a minute, why are you going psychiatric before you're going neurological? And that's
here's the thing.
yeah,
They're asking me. I'm like, I don't know. I was unconscious.
right. But looking at my
Here.
I have stacks and stacks of psychiatric diagnoses that are unsupported, diagnosis deferred, all of that. And I insisted. I'm like, you want to talk about the other kinds of seizures? Then let's talk about what you find in my records regarding my diagnosis, and we'll talk about that.
Prove it.
And he did. So he's like, oh, fuck. That was that today. And it's like, I really am concerned on how the medical model has shifted too far over to psychiatrics and behavioral health. And we're missing complex epilepsies like focal epilepsies that can lead to some really dangerous injuries. So, or you're getting thrown in jail because, you wake up and it's like, wait, what happened? And well, what drug are you on?
I'm
why?
on brain.
Yeah.
I'm high on my brain.
Are you taking any drugs? I'm like, no.
No, yeah. So yeah, that I consider you really lucky, man, for having a diagnosis like that. I really do. As traumatic as that is, I chalk that up as a victory. you know?
Especially if you go the route of SSDI. Now, if it does end up being that much of an inhibitor for making a living, then you're going to need some clear as day medical records and medical professionals behind you to even assume that you can pay a car note
Right, right.
on a social security check. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my therapist's joke today was let's apply for SSDI right now before they take all the psych diagnoses out because you're guaranteed right now.
Oh
Oh
no.
yeah, I'm like that is funny. That okay, but
Mm.
they can't support the psych diagnoses. Not one single one of them, and especially the last 5 years. And there's over 20. And I'm like, dude.
And how much action was taken? How much, just time was wasted?
Right. And he's sitting there trying not to smile, and he's like, I am so sorry that this happened to you. And I'm like, I really truly appreciate that because you didn't do it. But I knew he was gonna fix it. It's like, yeah, this is a mess and I'm really sorry.
Thank
So
God your daughter was there for that whole
oh,
interaction.
it was
She
like
needed to hear
yeah.
every word.
She looked like she had some Xanax. I swear to God, she just was like, oh, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like, this is what I've been telling you guys for 5 years. And then he's reading it. And he's like, so why didn't they? And never mind. I'm sorry, but wait, never mind. I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, let me just save you here. And
No, that sums it up. He's gonna, oh fuck, like
yep. Yeah.
that sums it up.
Yeah, I'll put this in a little tiny nutshell for you. Yeah. And
There you go.
and Natalie was like, Mom, that took you 90 seconds. And he said it was going to take him another week to read all that. And all I said was, it is completely erroneous and unnecessary. Look at the EEG and then look at what your NP is telling me last week. That's all you need to know.
that can literally be perceived as a death threat.
But yeah, I'm really, it's unsettling to see how they're saying the last thing that they think it is a seizure. It used to be that was the first thing we checked for. Now it's the last thing on the list.
I'm very glad that I went to a therapist first.
Damn.
And she noted in her very first note that because I thought I was getting schizophrenia, to be honest. And she put in her notes, she said, I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's panic attacks. Her notes say, I strongly suspect it's neurological, and I'm so thankful that I got her.
That's a good game plan.
Got her as a therapist. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I'm like, man, if I'm schizophrenic, it'll not be fine, but it's like they'll put me on meds. This is manageable. I don't want it to be epilepsy. That seems harder.
I feel like that's the worst ever, but
yeah, it does kind of
sometimes
sum
we
it up.
gotta
If
think.
you would rather be schizo than another, then yeah, it's probably harder.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
I've been smoking throughout, so
All right, you finish that up. I'll read this one. Advice, please. Hello, I'm a young adult and I haven't learned how to drive yet. Not specifically due to medical stuff, rather just my parents neglecting to help me with it. The thing I was wondering about is that my doctor is concerned that I might be getting absent seizures. In this circumstance, it's concerning because they're sometimes triggered by flashing lights, which happens in cars. Really? I don't have a diagnosis yet or anything, and no one has been able to tell me properly how safe learning to drive would even be for me, but I'm still expecting to figure out these things really soon. So, yeah, does anyone have any advice or anything on how to figure things out? I don't want to try and learn how to drive if it might be dangerous.
nope. I gave up on driving. I don't want to hurt anybody, and that's the main thing. I could have done that last time, and I'm thinking maybe it was good. Well, not maybe it was good. I didn't hurt anybody. the first time I got in an accident. Well, I didn't hurt anybody. The only time that I got in an accident, and I think mainly it was because it was Christmas. The roads were really empty, but still, I don't want to do it again because I don't know how I can live with myself after hurting somebody or hurting multiple people or a car pile up. There's all kinds of things that go through my mind. I was just like, this could have been so much worse.
You know, this sounds like some 15-year-old who was ready to
Yeah.
like, print out that test and practice test and get started. But to get this, the only comment on this one is you may have to contact your local DMV to see what their laws are. My local area says you must be 6 months seizure, loss of consciousness free to get approval, and also get approval from a doctor who had seen you within the last 3 months. But come
Pretty
on,
much.
you mentioned the flashing lights too. That's a no. That's like a never. If you actually
That's
have photosensitive epilepsy, then
you're
you
not
can't get behind
getting.
the wheel.
Nope.
Yeah, don't
This
do it.
I don't have photosensitive epilepsy, but does anybody have problem watching like IMAX movies? Because I get really bad headaches watching them.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I mean,
What
you're talking
was
about
that
when you're in
one?
the theater? Because it is
Yeah.
kind of loud.
No,
I
just
was just
watching them. Not
Oh.
like I can hear
when you say
loud stuff, but I can't look at the screen. That's the only
when you
time.
say
But
IMAX,
yeah,
I didn't have a problem. We went to the movies a couple months ago.
I can watch regular movies.
I
I
didn't have
can't
an
watch
issue.
IMAX movies.
Is that like the 3D
Uh,
ones?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, is that the ones where you got to like put the glasses on?
Yeah.
oh no, I don't do those.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
always
tried that.
just had a feeling that it's gonna be bad, and
Yeah,
I don't want to
it's
mess
not
up
worth the
anyone's
risk.
movie because
It'll
they
be,
do not rewind those movies for people.
I always
yeah,
get real
no.
bad headaches, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. I don't
It'll
know
be
why I
streaming
did
soon enough.
it.
Yeah, I
I
can't.
did. I
Yeah,
read a. Sorry.
Go ahead.
yeah. I'm sorry. I can't do VR at all. We tried to do it for my concussion because I needed therapy to, I guess, stabilize whatever got knocked around in my head. And they used a virtual reality program, and I couldn't do it. And I'm like, oh, is this the concussion? And I'm sitting there, and there's my daughter sitting, staring at me, the physical therapist. And mind you, we're all friends, okay? And she's the therapist is just standing back with her arms crossed. And there's Natalie shaking her head. And I'm like, oh shit, no. Yeah. I had a seizure doing the VR.
During the prescribed treatment.
Yep. And it's like, I didn't think I could do it when I put these on. And I didn't realize it's like, oh, I didn't even feel that one. Because apparently I just kind of, did one of I melted over, But
Yeah, it's like
yeah, I can't do that stuff.
VR sucks.
But whatever. It'll be streaming before you know it. You're not even going to remember unless you put it on your list. I
I don't
mean,
know if this would
that's
help
how it is
any.
for me.
Go ahead, Em.
Yeah, please.
I don't know if this would help anybody else. I read a tip if you have wonkiness in your occipital, or like migraines, or you're just photosensitive to I got these red glasses, and I covered one of my eyes and watched a movie, and it didn't stop the seizures, but it definitely helped. So yeah, sometimes don't close your eye, but covering up your eye might.
Do you think that kind of filters out like, that coating they put on glasses sometimes that they say filters out the blue light? Is that kind of what that might do?
Yeah, it does that. And then there's something about I don't know what it is, but covering one eye can suppress the seizure, but I don't know if that's just for like migraines and occipital seizures. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's complicated. This one is from another young one. I'm female 13. I've had problems in the past with dizzy spells when I stand up, but lately it's been a bit different. Sometimes I'll stand up and my vision goes dark and I start shaking really bad and falling over. I always describe it as a buzzing feeling because that's what it's like. My whole body feels like it's vibrating on the inside. Does that make sense? But today I was cleaning my room and my mom knocked on my door. So I went out to the hallway. I laughed because she scared me a little and then I got kind of dizzy. Then it went instantly dark and I could sort of tell what was going on. I could feel my legs convulsing, but nothing else. Then when I woke up, my mom asked what happened because she tried to catch me and all. Oh, okay, it does continue. Uh, oh, okay. And all I could say was it wasn't my legs. I was shaking my legs for fun. I really meant that my legs were shaking because it was the first thing that I felt when I woke up. And I thought I was doing it intentionally, but I don't think I was. My mom said she was very scared. I was confused because I was on the ground and hit my head. I don't even remember blacking out. I was so immediate. It was so immediate. I was standing and then I was on the floor. This hasn't happened to me before, where I just completely black out, but only for a few seconds. I fell back, slumped over, and my legs started shaking. My arms, I was convulsing. Usually I'm half awake, but I don't have any sense of direction and just shake really bad for like 30 seconds, or at least it feels like that. I'm sorry this is so long. I'm confused. Okay, so that's the end of that one.
Legs shaking and all that reminds me of a seizure.
Go ahead, Em.
Yeah. You're on mute.
Thanks. I was told that I had syncope before other stuff started happening. That sounds kind of like this, and you can have convulsive syncope, or just like postural issues. So go. I feel like all the answers are like go to the doctor.
Yeah. Did they ever tell you that you could lose consciousness with syncope or syncope or however you say it?
You can like pass out. I think you can faint, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened to this person. But didn't she say she stood up and it happened?
Yeah, she said she was standing up and she mentioned kind of losing awareness, it sounded like, but she could still describe how she felt it was just her legs. So she was aware,
Interesting.
but maybe not all the way there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because she said this time she blacked out. And if she can know enough to say that she fell back and slumped over, like exactly how it happened, then she must have been somewhat aware. But I would definitely lean towards seizure on that one. Absolutely a call for a workup.
Yeah.
Anything
Or,
pops out.
I mean,
You can
I
also get a
had,
tilt test. Oh, sorry, Angel.
I said I did have one, like, I had convulsions while being conscious, so it's not
Okay,
like,
so it looks like the difference between syncope and seizures is the cause. Like both involve loss of consciousness, but the syncope they're saying is due to reduced blood flow to the brain. Whereas seizures, it's all electrical,
Okay.
like brain activity.
yeah,
Yeah, you
like,
can have like postural, like stuff with your inner ear too that can do that and make you lightheaded.
Oh, okay.
I think you get a tilt table test. It seems
Yeah.
fairly easy to rule out the postural thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta do one of those. I never liked doing that. And I've got one coming up, so I just cringed. Sorry. But yeah, that it's hard to say. I mean, we can't always say it's a seizure, but if she's having it when she's standing up and that's one consistent factor, I would definitely lean toward POTS. You know, postural orthostatic hypertension, hypotension. And when you combine that with epilepsy, that's a real fun trip. Okay. I've had a couple of those where I've had that syncope and a seizure came right after it. And it's the creepiest feeling. But yeah, it could just be, but either way, it's something that she needs to get checked out.
So with the POTS, did the convulsions ever actually like fall short?
You-
Was it just your legs?
I do you ever get I don't know if you've ever exerted yourself like past your okay.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying, I'll be
You
right
ever,
back.
like run yourself out of breath, and when you're catching your breath, you get that dizzy feeling, and if you stand up, you'll pass out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a form
Oh,
of
yeah.
vagal syncope. So
Okay.
you know, if you have postural orthostatic, you don't have to run to have that happen. All you have to do is stand up just right at the right time, and all of a sudden you don't have blood in your brain.
Oh,
So you'll pass out. You know, and I've had seizures follow that. But, you know, it's still, if it's a you know, whether it's neurological or not, you don't want to have a pattern where you're passing out and not get it checked out.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this tilt table thing, do they really just strap you down and tip you over?
Yeah. It
Oh,
moves
wow.
the crystals in your ear, in your inner ear, that are associated with balance. And yeah, that's part of the therapy. And then there's a lot of fun things. I have to walk on like a half circle. Like if you cut a foam roller in half, I have to walk on those to test my balance. And I'm like,
Wow.
yo, I don't know too many people who really could do that. And after about 4 steps, I can't even see them.
Oh, wow.
That is the test. It isn't the balance at all. It's like, no, I don't even know where to put my foot. And that's when, okay, we're done. And that's part of that, you know,
Fail.
yeah, but that's all with the inner ear and stuff. But,
Wow.
you know, there's Meniere's disease that can cause that, and that's an inner ear condition.
And you think with all these detailed imaging studies, we would be able to see enough. But I
Yeah,
guess not.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking with this mom whose daughter, like, they're trying to get her diagnosed. She's in our Reddit group now. And she can't tell what her daughter has, but part of this, like, symptoms she described to me sounds like her daughter might have, like, the staring absent seizures, you know, because she was just like staring absently at a wall, and then she fell over and started seizing. But, you know, like, they can't tell what it is.
Angel, I didn't know you could also have like staring episodes during focal impaired awareness. Until I went to the EMU, because apparently absence seizures like show up right away.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until my wife told my neurologist. So, but I'm unaware. So,
Or
So
you get absences and like grand malls, is that right?
yeah, I get. So what my wife was told, from what I'm trying to remember everything she said. Basically, everything she described to my neurologist was like she could look straight into my eyes and she could literally tell I was not there. Like, she knew I was not there. And then I started getting like, I wouldn't say a scolding, but I was getting educated by neurologists about absent epilepsy, and he was like, you might have had juvenile absent epilepsy, and I'm like, what? It was just crazy that first meeting with this neurologist. I'm like, what? Learning all these things?
That's kind of the right response if you're having absence seizures. Wait, I'm having absence seizures? What?
Yeah, pretty much. 'Cause then you definitely don't know the history. They start asking you if you ever had a concussion and everything, and it's like, yeah, by the way, I don't remember like the last 15 years of my life. So
Yeah. I mean, I eat in concrete so much, so that's what I
there you
call
go. So that'll give them somewhere to probably not say intractable.
Yeah. I face planted. Okay. Yes, I had a
Right?
seizure. I face planted. See my
Hey,
nose,
Stu, just a
it.
minute.
Face planted straight into.
right?
I've hit in so many hard surfaces with my head.
Yeah, I
So
threw myself sideways against a wall. Well, that's what it looks like on the video. Are you people really serious? I
nope.
have to laugh. I do. It's like looking back, coming out of a seizure and hearing these people say this to me, remembering and going, are you people serious right now? And my daughter is like, Mom, you just had a seizure. And everybody around her is like, oh, is that what happened? And I'm at the fucking emergency room, okay? That I was sitting there for 12 hours having these seizures. Oh, is that what's going on? Yeah, I feel
And
really
these are EMTs, these are paramedics, these are like medically trained professionals saying,
that
like,
the doctor
learning
that
from you.
yeah, that discharged me. And I was cognitive enough to say, are you willing to bet your license on this? And he's
That
like,
is
what?
why you are a poster child, for
Yeah,
sure.
like, what are you talking about? And then it gets around that I'm threatening. No, I'm not. I simply asked you a question. Are you willing to bet your license on this? I told you I'm having a seizure and I knew what was coming. Send me out that door. And if I come back injured, yeah, it's your license.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
He's not, yeah, he's on that
Not that,
suspended list for New York State.
not that I want to be in an emergency room, but yeah, that's your.
Yeah, it's like, why do they do
Mhm.
that? It's like, are you people really serious? You don't recognize a seizure when it actually happens? Oh, you threw yourself up against the wall.
No.
I
That
would,
is insane.
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I don't even want to visit New York anymore.
Who does
I,
that?
I remember the high school one, the way they described it to me. They said I banged my head against one desk, banged my head against the other desk, next, like on each side of me. And it was like, okay.
No.
I
Yeah.
got bumped. I found in my notes that they put, I stood up into, like, full force, stood up into like the edge of a cabinet during one. And I've done this twice. And my medical notes said I bumped my head. I was like, I didn't fucking bump my head. It's just like crazy.
Talk about selective memory. That's blissful ignorance.
Oh, absolutely. It's not so blissful if I'm the patient.
Oh, hell
Right.
no.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get their
Yeah.
license number. You're still cognitive enough to
Yeah,
say that.
And that's my favorite thing.
Yes.
They assume that we do not have that. And I love that part, especially with the deity doctors. Okay.
Mm.
Or my glow stick doctors. Okay, Dr. Glow Stick. You know how you get a glow stick, you gotta snap it and shake it until the light comes on. Dr. Glow Stick. Yeah.
Right. Em, you got something? Oh.
Sounds like she's had some communication with deity doctors before.
I got something here. It says, only had one seizure in my life, wanting to wean off Keppra. About a little over a year and a half ago, I had a seizure in my sleep. I only know it was in my sleep because about 45-ish minutes after going to bed with my husband, he said, I woke up screaming and began to have a seizure, clenching, tension all over my body, biting my tongue, etc. Immediately got taken to the ER where they did a CT and blood work. Everything came back normal and was advised to meet with my primary care physician to see a neurologist. I saw my primary doctor, actually a partner doctor of hers that works with her in the middle office. Within a couple days, I was placed on Keppra and wanted to work me up to a high dose. This didn't seem right with me because I had no history of seizures and none of my family as well. So I waited to take the Keppra a couple days later. Once I saw the neurologist December, and he said he saw no need for me to work up to a higher dosage. So he told me to just take 500 milligrams twice a day. Well, I've been taking Keppra of that dosage ever since and have been seizure free. No real issues besides occasional dizziness. If I take it too late in the day or have forgotten to take a dose entirely, has only happened no more than 3 times. I guess my question is it wrong for me to want to be weaned off of Keppra? I got an MRI done in December and it came back normal. And recently got a 72-hour EEG done, which I'm hoping comes back normal. My neurologist seems like he wants me to take the Keppra forever. And also he wants another MRI done soon, which I'm totally on board to do. I just don't know. I really don't want to have to take this medicine for the rest of my life if I may not need to. I think you're gonna need to. I mean, I don't. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not a doctor, but I don't suggest not taking these medications once you've started. These medications in particular, I don't suggest it by any means, especially not on your own. Yeah. Thoughts?
Get a nanny
I
cam. She's having
yeah,
more seizures than she knows. Someone just happened to see one.
You need an affiliate link for nanny cams, okay?
I need a fucking sponsor, right? Like it could be an
I had
influencer. I
seizures
won't
with
remember,
my
but
wife
I'm pretty sure.
next to me and woken up with a bloody nose and she didn't know, you know? So it's, you could be having more seizures that you don't know of and you just might be feeling okay. They might be mild, but
Then
definitely
again, we
just,
all know time goes by when you're
if
having
it's,
the absence. You
yeah,
definitely miss those too.
Great. So, yeah.
yeah.
Wanted to wean
So,
off Keppra? I don't suggest it alone.
Yeah, not on your own.
yeah,
Right.
definitely just work with your doctors and see what they do. Don't do it
Yeah.
on
She
your
says
own.
this person said the doctor wants them to be on it for the rest of their lives. So, I think that's what I was told. This is
None
going to
of
be a
us want to be
forever
on
thing.
medicine for the rest of our lives.
Just, I'm going to take these meds they give me because if I don't, I know what's going to happen. So that's my motivation to keep taking this stuff. It does suck. I can say that, but it's better than having seizures more than I am now. I'm having a lot now, but I mean, not a lot now, but you know, I'd rather be doing this than having a lot more. Because I'm sure without it, I'd be in way worse condition. And I was in way worse condition just on Kepra. So
Yeah.
Did you see that that post on Universe from, I think it was like Napalm or something? Some guy
Yeah,
posted the the right side.
the video.
Yeah,
Oh,
he posted that video, and that was like powerful.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
yeah,
He was having like really, really strong
And I think
whatever that's
the
called.
day before he was talking about how he had to go to the hospital, I think, for like 18 hours or something.
yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
It's killing me to see what's going on. And it's like, I'm so glad you're here. We'll support you as much as we can, but we can't tell you, we can't give medical advice. But obviously something isn't right, and keep taking those pictures and videos, right?
Yeah.
But I don't, yeah, this is why you don't interrupt your medication. I had an interruption in my insurance for it was over 2 years. I literally
Go ahead.
thought I was going to die. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Ann.
Oh, no, having my medication interrupted for like 2 years. I thought I was going to die. Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Mhm.
dude.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah. And then you hear him say, uh-oh, that's mine. That's how my family knows. I'm going from that to the uh-oh.
Yeah, I had it on mute, so I didn't really see. I didn't really hear
Dude,
that, but
so great.
Yeah,
yeah,
the sound is what drove it home for me because he knew.
He knew.
yeah,
And
I got
if
to
they
take it off
all
mute.
know enough to videotape it now, this is not the first time this has happened.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah. Hey guys, I gotta go for a while. I'm gonna go take one of those I almost said napalm. Oh my God. I can't. Sorry. Grew up
You
during
have been napalm yourself.
Yeah, no, that's a Vietnam era thing. I can't get it out of my head now. Because that kid used it, that's his alias, and I'm like, shit. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take one of those lorazepams and
There
give
you
it.
go. Bring back something good from the 70s. Go for some shrooms.
Yeah, well, I've got I got Ativan, I got the benzos now. I have a whole
Ugh.
collection of benzos now, baby.
Wow.
That lecture today.
They sent you home rolling.
That's right. I'm like, I should have looked that pharmacist in the face and said, can I get stoned? And can I still get stoned? I should have. I just should have. But yeah. All right, guys. I might pop back in if you're still hanging out, but I'm gonna go.
You take it easy.
All right. Peace out. See you later.
Love you.
Peace out, man.
Right.
But yeah,
Bye.
I think he said he had seizures for a while, but that was his first tonic-clonic.
Mm.
Yeah, something's been going on if he knows enough to record.
Yeah,
I thought a
Right.
tonic-clonic was.
a
Am I getting
grandma.
tonic-clonic confused with a grandma? I thought a tonic-clonic
They're
was
the
on both
same.
sides of your body.
Yeah,
They just
they're the same
updated the
thing.
term.
I think I think grandma was just like the old school language
We're
for
old
it.
school.
Yeah, we're old school.
So
I was
I'm
I
a
was
little
told.
confused because do all of you guys have grandmas or tonic-clonics?
Yep.
Yeah,
I have both. The focal partials, whatever you want to call them, and generalized, which end up being tonic-clonics.
I didn't
Okay.
even. Yeah, I thought I only had the grand mals until I found out I had absences, and then a couple years ago, this was right before my daughter turned 1. I faced my first cluster seizure.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
So,
still better cluster than status.
right.
yeah,
I got
it
something
could have
else.
been.
It says coping with the driving ban. I saw the neurologist today and I was informed that I'm not allowed to drive for the next 6 months. And if I'm seizure free, then I can drive again. The problem is that my job is driving. I drive for Amazon DSP, and I don't know what I'm supposed to tell them. Do I go on FMLA, Washington State? Do I try to get a job from home for the next 6 months? Do I try to go back to retail? I know I have to take it one day at a time, but it feels like most of my freedom is gone. I know I can just use Uber or Lyft, but I've always driven everywhere because that's how I grew up. We didn't have public transportation where I lived, so I had to get a license as soon as I could so my parents could stop driving us to school. I get panic attacks first thing in the morning, and getting out helps so much, and now I can't even do that. I could use any device. I could use any device advice. What what would you do or what have you done in a similar situation? I do have an electric scooter, so that is one option I have for very local travel. Um, for the driving ban, my doctor, he just called the DMV. So, I mean, it isn't like I can just go pick up a license. And it's up to my discretion at this point because they're not here with me and they banned the license. So if I just like to drive, then I shouldn't, and I'm not. So coping with the driving ban was all right because I think at the time I was a teen, so I didn't mind not driving. I was already in high school catching a school bus. So
But it
yeah,
sounds like this person is contemplating not only loss of independence for driving, but making a living.
work. Yeah,
That was like the
Yeah,
biggest
that was his
crushing blow
job.
to have to accept, like, after they came to the parking lot and like I was already shirt off and had to admit that, yeah, that was a seizure. Like I couldn't go back to that job. So working from home is a hell of a lot more difficult entry level, obviously depending on what field you're in. But I was doing phone
Safer.
stuff. I was working in doctor's offices. I was just going from, office to office when they offered to pay me more. And then I ended up in collections, lived off the commission for like 5 years, and that was the end of that journey. The only job I've had since then is some like part-time over the phone telemarketing thing, and that ended after a couple months because I had had too much background noise. So it's entry level or like nothing at this point.
yeah.
You
So like I said, I was in high school with the driving ban, so it didn't bother me. But then what threw me off is when we went back to Kate. You said they found you in the parking lot with no shirt on.
Yeah, it was one of those funny little stories from back in the day. And the job had called the ambulance on me at least twice. Um, just for needing it. I think it was 2 tonic-clonics at that one. But then I had one of those wander off episodes. Lunch break, I would FaceTime home and walk the block. But family didn't want me walking the block anymore for obvious reasons. And, they were right. I can't say it any other way. They were right. That job was in between the courthouse and the park with like the homeless population there. So there's like a row of tents and the courthouse on the other side, and the cop car was there. And I, of course, have no recollection, but family can describe it pretty accurately. And it wasn't too long
So
after that I stopped driving.
did someone take your shirt off, or you took your shirt off?
It
You
was
lost
me.
me.
No, it was me.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Where
Yeah,
the
no,
point
it
from
was
off
it was
at?
me. I guess I just stepped out as soon as I wasn't in the office anymore. Maybe I was thinking you know, I'm just home, I'm ready to chill or something. I don't know. There's no rationalizing that. But yeah, I just kind of wandered off, and that was the last time I could ever show my face there.
I was gonna ask you too, but it sounds like you don't know why you do it either, because I'm a clothes taker offer too.
There you
I
go.
like to try on a lot of like costume changes for some reason, like right before it happens. And I don't fucking know why. I'll say a goofy reason, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Quick does it too, she says. I remember.
Well, it is what it is. It is summer, so
Um,
I was reading a story to where I was reading it actually a few weeks back. When I asked everybody, have you ever waken up naked? There was this girl. She said she was on campus at a college party, and I think she said she was walking around campus naked. Yeah, and she said that was her worst seizure ever. And I think she said her boyfriend's friend found her and called her boyfriend, which is really embarrassing. Personally, if I'd say so myself, that sucks. If I ever had someone that,
I hope she had some transfer credits.
yeah. So yeah, that sucks. Being in public and taking stuff off.
But
Because
in that kind of space too, thank God nothing else happened.
yeah, only time I've been naked like in public, well, uh, after
Willingly.
after a
Unwillingly.
seizure, the time that I was naked wasn't actually naked, but I just like went to pee, so I just like kind of dropped my pants to my ankles. And luckily, I was already like not luckily, well, yeah, luckily I was already into a seizure, so I wasn't myself, and the police noticed that. Um, because if I was myself, I would have went to jail. But they were just sitting there like the average cops. You know, they hold their belt and just wait for you to finish. That's what they were doing. Just standing there like, all right, he's having a seizure. We understand it. He's not himself. But yeah, that's like you get put on that Megan's Law list with people who actually molest people when you do that. Yeah, that sucks. You get to be on that list, and people just assume you're on that list for other reasons.
Yeah. You can't live in certain neighborhoods. That's a big thing over here in Florida with all these gated communities and such.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can't live near
Yeah, they run
schools and
background checks
stuff
on
and parks
everybody.
and stuff.
yeah. I'm so glad that didn't happen. Because yeah,
Yeah,
I
fuck
like to
that.
live.
Now I see what M said. Only polite things cops have done. Like give you the benefit of the doubt for once.
Yeah, I think I
Let me
had
let you finish.
someone there was like, oh, he's having a seizure. So that otherwise, I think they would have probably tackled me. Um, but yeah,
Probably would have broke your bones if they tackled you.
right. Yeah, they probably would have tried to bend my arm, put me in cuffs, and all that stuff. That would have sucked being in having a seizure.
On
Like you
this one
said,
here, it's somebody saying that they already know what caused it. So hi everyone, thank you in advance. I'm 25 female and I recently had my first seizure due to alcohol withdrawal. I luckily was with someone at the time, but since I live alone, I'm afraid it might happen again when no one's around. I'm not drinking as much as when it happened, but I'm still working through it. I'm hoping to look into technology that can alert someone if another seizure happens while I'm alone. It would be even better if the devices can be covered or partially covered by Medicaid or HSA. Come on, get treatment treat the issue. Don't try to cover up
Yeah.
the seizures.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
epi
and don't stop
binders
drinking by
and
yourself.
stuff like that.
That's not bad.
I'm gonna see what
Can
that
you
one
withdraw
comment
from
says.
alcohol? I never heard of it.
What?
Oh yeah, with alcohol withdrawal can cause seizures, but that's not
Yeah,
necessarily epilepsy.
Yeah, you
there
shouldn't
has
stop. It sounds like to have a seizure, they're a bad alcoholic, so they don't stop drinking all of a sudden. You should like actually, I think you have to go to the hospital for that, or rehab or something.
Rehab,
Because it's really dangerous.
but
That's
still,
how they
there's
get you.
I got something
epi
that says
monitors and all this other stuff. They're asking for devices. Any Apple Watch.